Hey everyone, today I'm sharing a recipe that's pretty popular online. It's called Chicken Marsala. First things first, I'm going to prep my ingredients. I dice a medium-sized onion and finely dice 2 cloves of garlic, setting them aside in a bowl as I'll be sautéing them together. Then I slice about 250 grams of button mushrooms into fairly thin slices and I set them aside too. Next up, I finely chop about 1/4 cup of fresh parsley and I set that aside. That will be going on the dish last of all. Now for the chicken, I take 3 large chicken breasts, about 750 grams in total, and I slice them horizontally into thin pieces, each breast into about 3 thin slices. Then I season the chicken well with salt and pepper. Then I put some cornflour into a bowl and I dip each chicken piece into the flour, shaking off any excess. You can totally use all-purpose flour instead. Next up, I heat up a heavy based pan on the stove and then I add a splash of oil, enough to cover the bottom of the pan, and a small knob of butter, about a tablespoon. Once the butter starts to foam, I add the chicken pieces and cook them in batches over a moderate heat. I want to get some colour on the chicken, and I don't worry if they're not cooked through, as I'll be finishing them off later in the sauce. Once all the chicken is browned, I set it aside. I remove most of the fat from the pan, just leaving a thin film. Then I add the diced onion and garlic and cook them over a moderate heat, scraping in any flavour-packed brown bits for about 3 to 4 minutes until the onion has softened a little. Then I add a small knob of butter followed by the mushrooms, giving them a good stir over a moderately high heat. I add 1/2 teaspoon each of dried thyme and dried sage, which are beautiful herbs together, and continue to cook for about 5 minutes over a moderately high heat. Now I add 1/2 cup of strong chicken stock and 1/2 cup of dry masala wine. If you've got sweet, you can use sweet instead, but the dish will be a bit sweeter. I boil this liquid briskly over a high heat for about 2 minutes, then I return the chicken to the pan, giving it a gentle baste, covering it with a lid and simmering over a very low heat for about 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I transfer the chicken to a dish, cover it with foil to keep it warm, and I finish the sauce. I increase the heat, boil the remaining sauce in the pan, scraping in the brown bits sticking to the bottom and the sides. And when the sauce has reduced considerably and is like a syrupy glaze, I taste it for seasoning. Then I turn off the heat and I stir in about 1 tablespoon of butter, which makes the sauce shiny and adds flavour. Finally, I pour the sauce all over the chicken and sprinkle over the chopped fresh parsley. So tender. Oh, that's delicious. Mike's going to love this. I'm going to go and eat it. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time.